is it, Sonny? Still in one piece? Did I hear right? You finally got that bastard Petrov?
Well, nothing gets by you, huh? Yeah, I got him. Actually, he kinda got himself before I could get him.
Don't you worry. If you got his head, that means this'll all be over soon. Then you can get some sleep.
Now you're speaking my language, Granny Zena. Mind if I stop by for a cup of tea?
Stop by any time, Sonny. By the way, you didn't happen to find any engraved gold rings while you were off chasing after Petrov?
No, I didn't, Granny Zena. Petrov didn't have anything on him.
Oh, that's okay. You just watch yourself, Sonny. Stop by if you need anything.
Charles, no one can force somebody into Collective, right? Petrov was wrong about that.
Not entirely.
What do you mean, not entirely? If I'm not a member of Collective, how can Collective find out about me?
It's quite simple. Let's say you walk past a robot. The robot identifies you as a human, but you are not wearing a thought device. The robot fails to receive mental commands from you in response to its queries.
But I can just put my thought on, walk past the bot, and do everything I'm supposed to do. Bring it on! Papa. Pray to your tin god! Get over here!
Saving data.
What? Are you serious? I'm dead?
Yep, you're not even the one thinking these thoughts. It's just residual static.
Thank you. Thank you, citizen. Oh, this feels good.
Rest in peace.
Ooh, this is nice.
Damn. Him too? Shouldn't we at least try to help him? There's nothing we can do for him. He sat down by your bed like he was hypnotized, and then he just stayed that way. We're the ones who need help now. My God. But you're right. Those shots were shit. They were supposed to help, but now I've got 5 people from the same collective farm on my hands. Trust me. Something's wrong with me. Call the nurse. My side is on fire. Hurry. Everything's fine. Take it easy now. The bosses know what they're doing.
Demon, I haven't even been here a week yet, and I've already seen enough corpses for a lifetime. I thought this place was going to be a regular clinic. I had no idea it was like this.
Didn't the fact that this place is a secret complex tip you off? You're a little green to be a guard, especially at a hospital. Listen, we're not butchers like those scientists. We're not here to kill people. We just make sure no one runs off. It's fine, really.
Zaharov didn't die, comrade. Zaharov lives.
What? Who are you? What are you talking about?
I'm an assistant professor from AOC. It matters not. Zaharov lives.
Zaharov?
He is Dr. Sechenov's closest supporter, a man whose genius may surpass Sechenov himself. It was believed Zaharov perished a few years ago in an unfortunate accident, but he did not. I studied the documents, and all of the most revolutionary papers show signs of his involvement. His personal touch, if you like. I worked with him personally and knew his attitude well. Caustic comments, radical methods, unmitigated interruptions. He is most definitely alive. But one question remains. If he is alive and still working, why would somebody hide it?
Sounds like a conspiracy theory to me. Right now it's hard to tell who's alive and who isn't.
Autolysis starts approximately 7 to 10 minutes after death, followed by defecation in 3 to 5 minutes. Rigor mortis sets in 5 to 6 hours. Then, let me see, complete decomposition in about 5 years.
Right, don't let me distract you from decomposing.
Focus. Keep an eye on that incision.
Okay.
Focus. Shit. Pressure on it, now! The polymer wasn't absorbed by the tissue again, so it created a pathological cavity. There are nodules like this all over his body. What do those heartless animals want from people, huh?
Charles, what is this place? I mean, what is this complex even for?
The Pavlov complex is the origin of all of Facility 3826's biological innovations. Unique experiments are conducted here, involving everything from breeding new species of farm animals to developing new space exploration technology.
Outer space? You mean they make moon rovers here, nonchalamment?
Space exploration is about more than just vehicles. A spaceship and rovers will of course be required. But what then? What about after humans reach the Red Planet?
So the latest medical breakthroughs, new life support systems, all came from here.
Indeed, Comrade Nick.
So many geniuses worked here for the good of all mankind. And now they're gone.
You may be right, comrade. But that is not your concern. Do your jobs. Private, bring in the next one.
Yes, Comrade Colonel.
The polymer needs to be absorbed. And if it's not, save whoever you can. And clean this place up.
Saving data.
Professor. Your calculations and solutions are so elegant and logical. Your work on mimetic polymer adaptation is an amazing contribution to science.
Thank you very much, but it was really a team effort. I'm sorry, who are you?
Ivan Bykov, junior lab assistant at the Pavlov complex. I work in the archives, but my dream is to work under you. I'm a huge fan of your work.
Well, your passion is commendable, although it is frankly a little concerning. The polymers are a quickly evolving scientific field with amazing potential, but I'm afraid passion alone won't be enough to advance it. Let's talk again in a month or so and see what we can do. For now, please excuse me. Science calls.
A month? But I don't have a month. You'll hear about me, Professor. You can bet on it.
I'm here, honey. I'll be with you, whatever it takes.
touch me!
at the academy to escape the experiments. I'm a doctor. I was the one doing the experiments. How dare they experiment on me? No, I don't want it. No one wants it. They just don't know it yet.
It never ends. Death everywhere. Nothing but death. The launch can't happen. It can't. I'd rather be nowhere. I'm never getting out of here. I don't want to become nothing. The polymers aren't what you think. They're not for what you think is right. The collective doesn't exist. The thing that exists isn't collective. What the? No, get out of here! You stupid dog! I don't want you to put that poison in me!
distance. That's it, you're fucked.
Saving data.
Where the fuck did you even come from? Bring it on! That's it, you're fucked. Oh shit. What's capable of this kind of brutality? This poor lady.
You are expressing sympathy for a corpse, Major.
It's a woman's mutilated body. You had sympathy for people just a little while ago.
This person is dead, Comrade Major. Make sure your weakness for women doesn't come back to bite your ass later.
Something's definitely wrong with you, Charles. I'm gonna ask Section up to calibrate you.
Authorization.
Made. authorization.
Saving data.
This.
A complaint. Listen, I am filing a complaint.
About what?
About your Stockhausen's disgusting behavior. I was injured, but could have been saved. I was bleeding out and begged him for help. But that Stock of yours, and I know you're calling him that ironically, just passed me by. He asked one of these robot ballerinas to step in my throat so that I'd stop making noise. And I died.
Stock really is a piece of shit, isn't he?
Precisely. Precisely, my dear fellow. I ask you to bring this matter to light. Please air the issue with your superiors. It's just shameful. I'm not asking for myself. It's too late for me. But it is the matter of the facility's reputation. He is the assistant to the chief administrator, after all.
I can deal with that.
You're gone, Professor. What have you done? I was supposed to learn from you, but all I ever got from you was scorn. My self-worth all depended on you, and now... Oh well. I've still got bullets. I can still fight my way through science. And I stole the box from your office with your favorite music inside. Just so I don't forget, I hid the music box in a safe. The one with the positive password, not the negative one. What will I ever accomplish if I can't even keep a couple of safes straight? The dog. The dog has the positive one.
Freaking critters. What's this place, Charles? A morgue?
Indeed. The bodies of the dead are kept here for further study.
Holy fuck. I mean, I get that there are certain experiments that can't be performed on mice or pigs or whatever, so they need living people, but so many. This is completely fucked up.
Believe me, Comrade Major, there are things that are far worse than what you see here. Sometimes the deaths of volunteers can lead to a breakthrough that saves millions of lives. This was how the vaccine against the brown plague was developed.
Let's keep going. This has to end. Now. If you want me to help you...
No, I want you to help all mankind.
That's what I'm trying to do.
No. Let's not waste time, okay? There's barely anything left of me. Look, I did the analysis. I did all the calculations. This neural network echo that allows the dead to talk. It's the key to immortality.
But how? This is just residual emotions.
Not quite. I just developed a neural network method for polymer self-adaptation in my head. We can prevent the consciousness from fading and use its impulses to direct machine parts. Effectively, this will allow the transfer of a human mind into the machine, rendering it immortal.
So, what do I need?
Here goes. Turns out it's really simple. Have you got a pen? I didn't expect it to be so easy. When thoughts are the only things you have, oh my, they become so clear and flow so very smooth.
Don't leave me hanging. Charles, record what she says.
Yes, I'm fading. Begin by taking a simple Soviet, available in every home.
Hey, lady, you there?
I'm afraid that's it, Major. The neuropolymer charge is exhausted. Although she was on the verge of a breakthrough.
Damn, talk about brain drain.
Hey, young man, wait, please.
If you want me to help you...
No, I want you to help all mankind.
That's what I'm trying. I've got better things to do.
Authorization. Major Nietzsche.
out!
Collective. We're up shit creek without a paddle now. This sucks.
This is fucked. Sechenov is a decent guy. How could he let this happen? An army of bots, killer mutants, thousands of innocent victims. No matter how you slice it, the facility's to blame. Even without Petrov, this place has issues, to say nothing of Collective 2.0. Seriously, I gotta wrap this up and retire. Maybe even get married. What? Nah. Lights out! Lousy piece of shit! Pray to your tin god! Show me what you got.
lunch today? They're serving Leningrad salad and sturgeon. Oh, it is going to be amazing.
Sure, Simeon. I just need to finish up here first. I've got a lot of butchering to do today. 5 more carcasses. There's 2 pigs, a sheep, and 2 old folks, a man and a woman. The old guy should just take a second, but you go on ahead. I'll be there in 40 minutes or so.
Help! Help me! I'm dying!
I've got bad news for you, comrade.
Don't talk nonsense. Can't you see I'm bleeding out? This complex is full of medical supplies. Just get me a first aid kit. I'm a doctor. I'll be able to help myself.
So try to match the amount of time that's passed with how you're feeling. You're a doctor. What does 2 and 2 add up to?
Am I really dead? But... shit. It must be these fucking vaccines, correct? I got imprinted on the neural net as a residual echo.
Yeah, like I said, I'm sorry.
Forgive me. Would you mind leaving me then? Please?
Look at the size of that fucking thing. What is it?
The experiments here involve the creation of neuropolymer endoskeletons for various animals. The goal is to allow them to live in hostile conditions on the outer planets of the solar system.
We had to take Bikov out. The damn janitor started shooting up the lab. It's a good thing the corrections team got there in time. He left a whole bunch of safes in there. Whose music box is this?
Please select the desired procedure.
I never expected to see Victor like this, in these circumstances. We used to be thick as thieves, you know. But Victor made too many bad calls. Now look at him. Thanks to Dr. Sechenov's brilliance, we don't have to lose all of Petrov's knowledge. We'll be able to return the robots to their previous state once the simulation
He's already dead, you creep! Keep your hands off him!
Grenade!
Establishing connection.
The professor says you haven't slept in 3 days. I don't wanna. Sleeping pills, bottle of vodka.
Why not both at the same time, huh? You know I don't like that stuff. My brain's a fortress.
You know, when I was a boy, my brother was scared of the dark, so my mother left the light on. It helped him. I hated it. The light interfered with my imagination. I didn't like children's books for the same reason. All those colorful pictures.
They were real.
Exactly. The books in my father's library. History. Theoretical physics. Science doesn't try to make the world safer or prettier. It doesn't lie to us. It just gives us the facts. So, I knew what I had to train for. In the dark, behaves predictably. It can be studied. A monster in the light wears a mask and is therefore unlikely.
Which makes it dangerous.
Very much so. light makes us monsters. Do you understand, my boy?
More or less.
May I turn out the light?
Yeah.
Reconstructing illumination.
Son of a bitch. What the... Charles, where's Larissa?
She hid before the explosion.
So what happened to Stuck?
Stockhausen was knocked into a vat of polymer by the explosion and is now deceased.
You hypocrite. I'm a doctor. Some doctor you are, you grenade-tossing bitch.
Petrov and Filatova are cut from the same cloth. There can be no doubt about that.
Whatever. We gotta find a way out.
Major, you alive?
No, I got killed by a grenade.
I'm so sorry that happened. I didn't want any of this, but none of it matters right now.
So what does matter, you crispy-ass critter?
We have to meet. You need to see this with your own eyes. I'll show you everything.
What do you mean by everything?
You trust Sechenov too much, but he's keeping you in the dark. You have no idea what's really going on. You need to see it with your own eyes or you're not gonna believe it.
You got that right. I have no fucking idea what's going on.
You will understand when you see it. I have proof. I'll be waiting in the Academy of Consequences. The entrance is inside the lighthouse. Trust nobody.
I don't.
Saving data.
Comrade Major, I must insist that you destroy the beta connectors.
Why do you have a bug up your ass about those rings, Charles?
Stop calling them rings, Major. You need to learn to think before you speak, not after. They are beta connectors, and they will enable 2 robot assassins to be free of any control other than that of their bloodthirsty master. Do you want more deaths on your conscience?
What bloodthirsty master are you talking about? I've got the rings, and I'm not gonna put them on any fucking robots.
And how long will they remain in your possession, Major?
As long as I'm still breathing, and there's still time left.
Time's up. The procedure for assimilating Petrov's head has begun. Sechenov will return the robots to their normal state, and then he will recall you. When you return, he will take the rings.
Apparently everybody wants them. Why? Does everybody want personal bot assassins?
Think, Major. Who has asked you about the beta connectors? Sechenov with his metal twins? Stockhausen, Sechenov's right-hand lickspittle? Granny Zena, a secret double agent whose affiliation remains completely unknown? Or would you like to fulfill Petrov's dying wish and give Filatova the connectors?
What the hell is going on? Am I the only sane person here?
As you can see, we are the only options. Whoever gets their hands on the beta connectors, the results will be the same. More blood, more death. The rings must be destroyed before it's too late.
It isn't too late, Charles. Not yet.